So today I'm going to conduct a 3-week hive inspection on a swarm that I caught 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago I took a look to make sure that we had a queen and that she was laying eggs. So today we are going to check on the hive's progress. We're going to make sure again that we have a queen and that she's laying eggs. At this point we should also have larvae and some capped brood. And we're going to make sure that the bees are building comb, which indicates that they are finding the resources that they need, that they're collecting pollen and nectar. And we're also going to assess the amount of space that the bees have. Currently they are in an 8-frame box. And once they start building out on the 6th or 7th frame, it's time to add another box so that they have room to grow and can continue to expand the hive. I'm going to take the inner cover off, and hopefully there's no comb attached to the lid this time. And lift it slowly, just to make sure. Okay, no comb. There's a few bees on the lid. I'm gonna put them at the front of the hive so that they can go back inside. Okay, so I can tell just by looking through the frames here that they have built out on 6 of the frames, and the last 2 are empty. So I'm going to pull out one of these empty frames. See, they're actually hanging out on it down here. I'm going to pull this one out and set it to the side just to make some room in the box so that I have space to work. Slide this one out of the way. Oh, again, can you guys see that? They're festooning again. They're latching on to one another. Pulling them out. Oh yeah, you can see how they're all like holding on to one another. That's the festooning that I talked about during my 1-week hive inspection. They're busy making comb. Okay, so I'm gonna have to pull them apart so I can get this frame out. There they go. You can see. There they go. Okay, so those of you that watched my video from 2 weeks ago will recall that I had to rubber band a couple of comb pieces into a frame that they had built from the roof. These are those pieces, and you can see that they've already connected the 2 pieces. Eventually they'll fill out this entire frame. So I'm getting ready to pull out the next frame. And they've built some cross comb, which is when they build comb going from one frame across to another frame, which is not a problem for the bees at all, but it is a problem for the beekeeper. It makes it very challenging to pull out the frames and manage the hive when they build cross comb. And you can see there's a piece that started on this frame and is going over to this one, and there's a piece going from this one to over there. So I'm going to have to basically straighten these combs out so that they each line up with a single frame. I've had the hive open for a little while now, trying to straighten out all the cross comb. There was comb being built across almost every one of these frames. This is a common problem for beekeepers that use foundationless beekeeping. This is one of my frames and it's empty. For a lot of beekeepers, they use a piece of foundation inside the frame. It's a piece of plastic that goes inside the frame, or a recycled piece of sheet of wax, and it provides a foundation for the bees to build off of. It also keeps them building nice and straight. I try not to put anything into the hive that's not natural, so I don't use foundation. But one of the drawbacks of not using foundation is that the bees can build where they want to build, and that's not always a good thing for the beekeeper. see when I'm recording, but hopefully you guys can see the frame. Okay, so I've had the hive open for a while, fixing the cross comb. I was gonna try to look for the queen, but I'm not gonna have time to do that. The longer you keep the hive open, the more agitated the bees become, and the more defensive they'll become. So I've got a couple of guard bees bouncing off my veil right now. They're telling me they've had enough. It's time for me to close them up. 8th frame now, just a little bit. So I'm gonna add an extra box to give them more room. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna move up 2 frames. This one that has something a little bit on it. And I'm gonna move up one other frame, one with honey on it. And the reason we do that is because sometimes when you add a second box to a hive, they sometimes just don't even notice that it's there. And so you'll come back in a couple of weeks and they've completely filled the bottom box, they're out of room, but yeah, they haven't touched the upper box. So by moving a couple of frames up that already has comb built on it, or if you move up a couple of frames of brood, or you move up a frame of honey, basically they cannot miss the second box. All of a sudden they realize they have an upstairs, and they'll move up and they'll start building out in the second box. It doesn't always happen, but it does sometimes happen. So to prevent that, I always move up a couple of frames that has comb on it, and then replace those with empty frames in the first box. So I'm gonna do that now. All right, so I've added the second box, the hive's all closed up. I did spend quite a bit of time inside the hive fixing the cross comb. That is a problem of using foundationless frames. And it's also a problem that has to be fixed right away. I cannot let that go. It'll just continue to get worse, and it'll get to the point that I will not be able to remove the frames without completely destroying the hive in the process. And that would be a completely just disaster, unpleasant situation. So because of that, I wasn't able to look for a queen or to look for eggs. And I know that they had a queen 2 weeks ago because I saw eggs that she had laid. I wasn't able to confirm that today. Probably they still have a queen, but you never know. Things can happen to a queen at any time. She can just be old. Even though this is a new hive, because it was a swarm, the queen is not necessarily a new queen. She's the old queen from the original hive. So I don't know how old this queen is. She could be diseased. I could have accidentally hurt her during my last inspection. I don't think I've ever done that before, but you never know. It's definitely a possibility. So I'll check with them again in a couple of weeks just to make sure that they do have a queen. They have plenty of room now with the extra box, so I don't have to worry about them running out of space right away. And I'll just want to make sure that they have a laying queen so that their hive continues to grow. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.